I'll never forget that night. Not only because he spoke at length, but also because he did so with so much pain. Until then, and never again since, did I ever see my dad cry. My dad was born and lived in Brest, Poland. His Poland was divided as a result of a devil's pact made between the Nazi Germany and the Soviet Russia. However, not long after that agreement was made, the Soviets were betrayed, and the Nazis, with their unholy mission, advanced with lightning speed towards Moscow. Brest was in their path of destruction. Before the war came to him, my dad had various jobs helping his family make ends meet. He was assigned to work on a train to Russia while the city of Brest was panicking over the imminent arrival of the Nazis. My dad struggled with his decision on what he should do. His family persuaded him to get on the train to safety. My dad was accompanied to the train station by his father. For one frantic moment at the station, my dad's father disappeared from his view. When my dad found him, my grandfather was seated, out of plain sight, crying. Disturbed, because my dad, too, had never seen his dad cry. He asked, "Dad, why are you crying?" To which his father replied, "Because who knows if I will ever see you again." My dad boarded the train. In Russia, he lied about his age so he could join and enlist in the Polish Army Regiment. I have several pictures of him in uniform, stationed in Tehran, Persia, and in Tehran he was recruited by the Haganah to serve on the battlefields of Palestine. In Palestine, just before the war with the Arabs, he drove a truck delivering supplies to Jewish settlements. My dad told me this was more harrowing than the Israel War of Independence itself, as he was chased by both the British and the Arabs. He fought with distinction in the War of Independence and had a scar over his nose, the result of a bullet wound. Near Tel Aviv, he saw my mother one day on her porch, reading a book. Struck by her beauty, and knowing he literally had nothing further to lose, he approached her for a date. The rest is history, as they ultimately raised my brother and I in Toronto. My father died on February 23, 2011, after he fought his last battle with various internal body complications. Until then, I was satisfied with the completeness of this story. About 2.5 years after my dad's death, I attended my Uncle Jack's funeral and Shiva in LA. And as is the custom in a Shiva house, we reminisced about our family history. Uncle Jack's daughter Shelley stunned me when she asked if I knew my dad was married before the war. They learned about this from our dad's friend from the old country. The friend worked on the same train with my dad the day it left for Russia. After surviving the war, this friend settled in Australia, and upon his retirement, he tripped through North America. In Toronto, attempting to visit my family, my dad stopped him in his tracks. In LA, the traveler told Uncle Jack that my dad was guarding a secret about his previous marriage. In fact, on that fateful day the train left for Russia, my dad had second thoughts about staying on the train. My dad's friend wrestled him down, preventing him from getting off the train. This extra layer to my dad's story seemed to fit, but there were still some nagging doubts. About 2.5 years ago, Elaine Cheskes, one of your hosts tonight, in her dogged determination to fill the many holes that was our Cheskes family tree, sent me an email with 2 photo attachments. "Do you know these people?" she asked. I immediately identified them as my grandparents. She told me these were the last photos ever taken of them. Nazis herded my grandparents, along with others issued with these passport photos, into a crowded Jewish ghetto. But Elaine also asked me, "Do you know who the young lady that lived in the same household with your grandparents and your dad's baby sister was?" Aha, my dad's first wife, I reckon. Almost. In October 2012 in Shul, and during the announcement of the names of those with anniversaries of their passing, the rabbi respectfully and impactfully read and remembered for the first time in 70 years the 18 recovered names of our Cheskes family. members who all perished together on October 15th, 1942. 1 year later, for the October 6, 2013 service, the rabbi was given one more name to add to the eternal list of names to remember: Fanya Cheskes, my dad's first wife. On this occasion, here united with your descended family, Dad, I release you from your guilt and shame you suffered to your last day on earth. Not even my mother knew of your secret. Dad, your act of survival was a loud message to the world. Just look around this patio. We have more than just survived you, we have prospered. And as it is written in Genesis, all the nations of earth shall bless themselves by your descendants, because you obeyed my command. And history shows that those who reside with us in peace, as the Bible prophesied, are blessed. And may it be God's will that we all live in peace.
Let me call, that was wonderful.